Hey everybody, what is going on? Serial Lover Jav here, and today we're playing some Entropia Universe. We've got some really awesome stuff to talk about, so let's jump right into it. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a 50 PED, a Mubu Lax, or Mubu, or whatever you call them, hunt. The reason we're doing this is because we're looking for some of those fancy new items, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, if you haven't heard the news, there's Unreal tokens dropping, and there's specialty items that are dropping as a part of the 20-year Entropia Universe anniversary, which basically means it's been 20 years that this game has been out, and I've been playing it for about 15 of those years. On and off, I'm not as active now as I used to be, but still, it's mind-blowing to think about. That's so much time. That's like a whole like living, thinking, breathing person that can almost that could drive, actually, just with their parents' permission. But yeah, a lot of time that this game has been out for, and I've been lucky enough to see it through a lot of those times. So I'm definitely thankful for that, and we're gonna see if we can't get some 20-year anniversary items from these. I think they're, how did you say them? A Mubli Max. I don't know. I mispronounce these words all the time. But yeah, what we're really talking about in the title of this video most likely is the changes to the CLD system. So Calypso Land Deeds are basically the first deeds that were ever released for Entropia Universe. I've got some in my inventory right here, 21 of these deeds. Originally, they were sold for 1,000 PEDs. Right now, they're going for about 3,000. Yeah, let's say 3,000 PEDs. That's a good chunk of change, right? So what is changing about those? Well, it seems like what's happened is Mindark has decided that there is a better system for Calypso Land Deeds, and that would be the Entropia Exchange, which means if you hold Calypso Land Deeds, they're all going to be converted over to the Entropia Exchange at a rate of 1 deed to 100 shares. I think they're called shares, 100 shares. So the 21 deeds that I have will now be 2,100 shares, which are going to appear right here. That's it, basically. Because of this, the price is probably likely to drop. So if you just do a one-to-one conversion, you could expect them to drop to 30 PEDs a share. Most likely, in my opinion, it's going to be a little bit higher because lowering the price of the deeds is going to mean more people can invest in them, and more people wanting to invest means generally the price is going to be higher. This happens with the real-world stock market, and I don't see any reason it wouldn't happen in Entropia Universe. It's like one of the reasons people buy these deeds right here, this would be Arcadia Underground deeds, is because they're cheaper than Calypso Land Deeds. They're not better necessarily. If you look at the price and you look at the returns, they're not necessarily better, they're just cheaper. Calypso's where most people play, so Calypso's probably got the steadiest return, but they're more expensive, so a lot of people don't buy them. Now, that's all about to change. Arcadia Underground deeds, which were previous favorites, are going to be sort of underswept with this news, and Calypso Land Deeds are probably going to pop up. Whether or not I'm going to go ahead and convert my Arcadia Underground deeds to Calypso Land Deeds before this happens remains to be seen, but you never know. But yeah, in my opinion, for me, it's actually a really, really good change, because it means that basically, you know, it's going to raise the price of Calypso Land Deeds, which means I'll have more money, or my avatar will have more value. For some people, though, this isn't the best news. And the reasoning behind that, so I was talking about this on my Discord with Bayrock, so a long time subscriber, long time listener, might be listening right now. Hi, how's it going? But really cool dude. But yeah, we were talking about it, and some of the people who are upset about this would be people who actually use the deeds either as a store of value when they're trying to sort of like they use them as collateral, basically, right? So there's some players who, what they might want to do is they might want to use a Uber weapon for an event. They might want to use it just for a weekend, right? Like, I've got 21 deeds. If I really wanted to play like with some sort of set of armor and some item that I've always sort of like idolized. Let's say maybe I want to use shadow armor with, actually with guns, it's a little bit harder because you're sort of skill locked to them. But let's say I wanted shadow armor, right? Maybe I'd go ahead and give someone with shadow armor my CLDs, or some of them, probably not all of them. They give me the armor. I could use it for a weekend. We trade it back. Everybody's happy. Maybe I give them a little bit of something as a bonus, right? And no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying like PEDs. But no, like you do something like that, and yeah, it's a decent system. Like, it's a good way to trade value. With shares, you can't do that. I can't transfer, at least not now. I can't transfer, let's say, 10 of these shares over to someone to get a I don't know if they gave me shadow armor for that. That would be a ridiculous deal, but I can't transfer them. So what's going to happen now is people who are using Calypso Land Deeds as collateral, they're going to have to move over to something else. Maybe it'll become Arcadia Underground Deeds or Arcadia Moon Deeds. I hope not. Arcadia Moon Deeds are horrible. I would not recommend buying them, but you know, to each their own. But maybe they'll switch over to that. I don't know. So that is one big downside that a lot of people have been pointing out. And the other one would be for people who are looking to be traders. So for those of you who don't know, Serial Overdrive, me, I'm a free-to-play player. I've played Entropia Universe without depositing for a long, long time. Back in the day before you had this thing right here. This is going to show you how old I am. Right here, you see this market value? That didn't exist back when I was a trader. So before then, you could sort of set your prices and then you'd sell stuff in auction. So let's say you've got list ore, right? You might buy it for 102% knowing you can sell it for 106% or 105%, right? But you know that you can only sell it in big groups because of the auction fees and everything like that. So you buy at 102 and you know that at 50 PEDs, it's a profitable sale, right? You're going to make 2 PEDs on the sale, maybe not 2 PEDs. You're going to make like a PED on the sale, not much, right? But you know you're going to make a little something. You're happy with that. Once that market value came in, you had to start explaining to players what you were doing. They'd say, why are you giving me 102 when I should be getting 105? And it's like, well, you're coming to me with 5 lists. I've got to find a bunch of other people with this amount, give them a similar percentage, then I sell it, then the auction takes a fee, and then I get a little bit on top, right? Before market value, people didn't really know what it was worth, and they were just happy to be giving it away to someone. And then it just gets harder and harder after that. You got to sort of explain it. And it's good for the players in some respects. In some respects, it's not that good. So one of the things I've noticed now is I tend not to be able to find people to dump all my resources on. So you just sit in storage. And sometimes they just, you know, before I get a value or an amount that would make sense to sell in the market, the markup drops and I end up losing money on this because I saved them. You know, of course you can always TT them, but still I ended up losing money just because I'm holding these items. And to me, it probably would have been a better deal to just be able to sell it to some trader who buys everything in sort of small quantities, adds them up to a bulk quantity, and then goes ahead and makes a little bit of profit on it. But I didn't do that because those traders don't really exist anymore, because with the amount of money you're making on it, it doesn't even make sense to be sitting there explaining to each person why this is the case. And then everybody's going to try and, you know, they're going to negotiate off the market percent. When the market value thing did come in, I still was able to, and you know, in a lot of cases, it actually did benefit me because I'd have a buyer who was willing to pay a little bit over market, and people who were selling it would be willing to pay under market. So I wouldn't go ahead and pay them at market rates, because sometimes you do that too. But yeah, to make a long story longer, because I know that's what I'm good at. Basically, what happened is things changed, right? And MindArc's moving traders out, and a lot of people think that this is going to do that partially. And the reason for that is because with the share system, you can no longer physically trade items. Ooh, we're already out of ammunition. This was a really fast 50 PD hunt. That's also a downside of having better gear. You burn through your PEDs faster. But yeah, basically, one of the downsides of this is people can no longer trade CLDs. So there were players who, what they do again is they'd buy CLDs cheap from someone who needed the money quickly, maybe 3,000 PEDs. And then they'd sit on them trying to sell them for 3,100 PEDs or maybe 3,050 PEDs, right? Trying to sell them for some amount like that. And, well, you know, if they're willing to sit on the PEDs, if they're willing to buy them, if they're maybe willing to sell them in bulk or buy in bulk and sell them one at a time, they can make a little bit of extra money. The auction fees, I think, would be, I'd like to say 50 PEDs on that. It would be a significant auction fee. So for a lot of players, it's worthwhile to sell it to a trader and let a trader try and sell it. And maybe the trader just doesn't give you, you know, maybe they cut 50 PEDs off the market value. So the trader is basically doing what the auction would do. This eliminates that. Now MindArc gets their cut and it can't be superseded by going through a trader. So a lot of traders are, I think, rightly mad about it because it eliminates one of those free-to-play aspects that a lot of people like myself got started with. When I got started, it was a whole different time. I know people have been saying, like, for forever, people have been saying, Serial, you've got to try again. I want to see if you could do it again. And the truth of the matter is, I couldn't. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. And I just don't have the willpower to do it. the amount of money that it was worth back then to me, but the amount of time it was worth to me because of like how much my time was worth in general, it made sense. Right now, it just wouldn't make sense because it'd be frustrating, and I could be doing better things with my time, if that makes sense. Like, not to insult anyone, but like, I'm a lot older. I'm 15 years older. I've got responsibilities. I've got a job. I've got, skill upkeep, house upkeep. I've got family. Like, I'd rather be going out to dinner with them, or playing with my kids, or doing a number of things, than trading in Entropia Universe. Back in the day, like, it was a really fun activity to me. It was sort of like, oh, this is like my entry into business, like figuring out how things work, figuring out how markets work, all of that. Once you've got a little bit more of like an idea of how all that works, you don't really need to, I don't know, it's just not as fun, I guess. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. It's just not as fun. So, yeah, I'm not going to become a free-to-play, or I'm not going to restart my account and see if I could do it again. Because even if I thought it was possible, I'm not 100% sure I do. Even if I thought it was possible, I definitely don't have the time or the motivation to do it again. Now, look, if you're some sort of Bill Gates over here, and you're willing to give me $2 million to do it, like, we can make this happen. But it would need to become my full-time job, and for it to become my full-time job, it would need to be paying very, very well, and I do not think it would pay that. Now, what do we have here? We're actually, like, pretty much done with the hunt already. I was not expecting this. Let's equip the gun, and maybe we'll kill a few more, and then I guess we're done. Yeah, I was hoping the hunt would be a little bit more interesting than this, but it is what it is, I guess. This was a bit, I think. Yep. So yeah, for those of you wondering what gear I'm running, we've got this right here. We've got an LR30. We've got Ghost Armor, and that's about it. I've got Gremlin Foot Guards because I bought this Ghost Armor set before Foot Guards were a thing, and then when Foot Guards became a thing, I decided I was going to be too cheap and not buy Ghost Foot Guards. So we're just rocking Gremlin. Why not? Yeah, I remember when Foot Guards became a thing, if that gives you an idea for how old my account is. I went out and hunted for Vigilante Foot Guards on my own because I did not want to have to pay a trader for them. Or just anyone for them, right? I just didn't want to have to buy them, I guess is how I should say it. So yeah, I went out and I hunted and I hunted and I hunted. I think it was robots, or maybe it was Argonauts. I forget what it was that dropped them, but I spent weeks, maybe not weeks, I spent like a couple weeks. Yeah, I probably did actually spend a couple weeks hunting them. And after like thousands of PEDs, I managed to get the drop, and I was like, yes, we did it. It only cost me like double or triple what it would have if I just bought it from someone, but I also got skills, so that was still not worth it, but it is what it is. It's Entropia Universe, and sometimes being able to loot your own gear is it's a reward in and of itself. And look, I'm talking about it now, like many, many years later, so it does show you that there is some sort of pride in looting your own gear. Now, that's not something I'd recommend. Like, I wouldn't recommend you go out and try and loot all your own armor or something ridiculous, but it's fun to do. Like, if you got one piece left of your armor, sometimes it's fun to go out and try and hunt down that piece yourself, because there's a little bit of, like, I don't know, the pride of having done it in there. Especially if you're looking for a goal in Entropia Universe. Like, in my opinion, your goal shouldn't be to become the best hunter, become the best miner, because that just means you're spending the most money. It should be something that'll give you satisfaction, like personal satisfaction, like to find this item, to loot this item, to kill this mob, to do this thing that was like previously inaccessible to you. It's like one of the big things when I first started was being able to kill Atrax because they kept killing me right around Camp Phoenix. Again, before cars, everybody had teleport chips, but I didn't have one. I was like, these things keep killing me. I want to be able to kill one of them. And then when I could do that, that was a big thing. And then it was Atrax, because they'd kill me when I was walking to the oil rig. And then after I got the Atrax killed, I think it was being able to do Crystal Palace and actually help out on drone ships, or what were they called? Beacon runs. So then I got to that level, and then it was to get 1,000 skills, and I'm still not there. So I've jumped to a few other goals, like, getting those Vigilante Foot Guards. That was something. There's all sorts of things, but Yeah, I think the game's more fun if you do it like that. So let's go ahead and let's sell this loot, see where we're at, and call it a wrap. Hopefully this was a good video. It's a little short, and I feel like I started it. I've got a little bit of a stuffy nose, so I think I sound a little too out of breath for this video. But oh boy, the losses are huge on this one. I feel like we didn't go out there with 50 PEDs worth of armor, worth of ammo. I know we did, but man, 22 PEDs back on a 50 PED run. So we've already lost 28 PED. That's supposed to be said PED, I know. Let's throw everything equipped in there. Oop, let's not do that. Let's clear that. Let's throw all the armor in, and let's throw the gun in, just to be fair. Whew. All right, so we lost 40 PEDs on that run. Look, if we look at my PD card, it's not that much. But when you run the numbers on this, like this is probably over 50% losses. It's a small hunt, small sample size. I get it, but like that is this is actually huge, especially since I haven't played for a while. Usually they give you a nice little boost there, but it looks like I'm not getting a boost. And if I am, dear God, somebody save this game. But yeah, no real markup on anything. Like there's some markup here, but it's a very low PEC item, 13 PECs. Doesn't really matter. So honestly, yeah, like that was a big loss. But it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. And a lot of you commented, like, am I going to be doing Entropia Universe more? I'm never going to stop. I'm going to keep doing this. Just every so often, sporadically, when there's something to talk about. And I thought this split from Calypso Land Deeds to Calypso Shares was interesting and worth discussing. So thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.